Right, good morning guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Louise and I'm currently stood in our self-converted camper van. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I want to talk to you about this. This is a Power Oak AC50 portable power station. Now, as many of you will know, Emily and I converted this van ourselves. We put in all the power system ourselves and we're about to embark on our first big trip in this van to Europe. And we want to get off grid, and my main concern with that is if there's ever an issue with our power system, then we then have no way to charge up our phones, access the internet, because our Wi-Fi needs to be plugged into the 12-volt system. So that's why we have got one of these portable power stations. Also, it acts as an extra source. So say for instance we're running low on the batteries and we don't want to move to charge them up, we've got a backup just so that we can run a few more things. So let's get it out of the box and have a look at exactly what it does. Okay, so this is the main unit. The first thing I noticed is it does feel pretty sturdy. It feels pretty rugged, it feels pretty strong, it feels pretty secure. So yeah, and it looks pretty good. But basically on here this will run, so within the unit there is a 300 watt pure sine wave inverter. Now what that means is that any appliance that you've got that's 240 volt that you need to plug into your wall in your house, as long as it doesn't use too much power, so less than 300 watts, you can plug it in here. And because it's pure sine wave, what that means is any sensitive electrical equipment like a laptop will run quite happily from this modified sine wave. You know, my laptop certainly doesn't like it, so I should think most won't. You've then also got, on the 12 volt side, you've got a 12 volt cigarette port type socket there. So Emily's 12 volt Hoover, for example, will plug straight into that. Anything that plugs into that kind of connection in your car will plug into that. You've then got 4 USB ports there, a PD 45 watt point there, so if your laptop charges perhaps from USB-C, I don't know, but that's handy. And then up here you've got 2 12 volt 3 amp outputs there, and they're handy for like 12 volt fairy lights. They often have that fitting on the end. So it's pretty easy to operate. You just turn the power button on, it tells you how much charge you've got there. If you're running anything off the 12 volt side, so from here or here, you just turn on the DC output. And if you want to run anything from the 240 volt side, you just turn the AC on and then that will run. So there's 3 ways to charge the thing, which is really handy. So you can either A, plug it into your sockets in your house, or for us, if we're plugged into electric hookup, we can plug it into our 240 socket in the van. So that's one way of charging it. You can charge it up off of your cigarette lighter or your 12 volt port whilst you're driving, which is really handy. I should say at this point it won't reach a full charge on that, but it still charges it up. And for us, we can also charge it straight off of our 12 volt leisure system if we wanted to do that. And then the third way, which is the most exciting way, is you can charge it up with solar panels, which I've also got, which I will show you now because they are pretty cool.
Never rains in California. The sun is always shining bright. People are smiling, making plans, hiding behind their shades, and you're doing the same. No rain, no flowers, nothing's growing where you're at. Heart is fire, but baby, I bet you're cold without me, even when it's 90 degrees. Without me, I bet that you can get any sleep in that bed lying.
Okay, so it's pretty much at 100% almost, so I'm going to leave that there charging. It's really sunny today, so that helps. Obviously the more sun, the quicker it charges. So what I'm going to do now is, because there's no point in testing it right by the house because we've got power here, I'm going to grab Emily and then we'll go somewhere more like where we're going to be and put it through its paces out there. Okay, so we can really test this out, we've come down to one of our favourite places. So we've come to the woods or the forest, and we spend a lot of time in areas like this. So it's got a full charge, so we're going to get it all set up and Emily's going to see how much work she can get done away from the van, because it is handy to be able to, for me to be in the van editing, and then Emily can get some peace and quiet and go and do her work over there somewhere.
Yeah, because nobody wants to be around her all the time.
Lovely. So yeah, we're going to test this out. So one of the first things I first noticed about it when I got it out of the box is it feels pretty rugged. So not only does it feel like it's going to cope, I mean the ground is a bit damp today, so I think it's going to be absolutely fine sat on the ground. But not only does it feel rugged, it just looks cool.
Yeah, no, I'm sturdy like a Millie Rocket. Skin clear, still look young, Andy Miller knockers, money in my pocket. Don't call me a money pocket, engine get to rocket. It sound like a thunder rocket, yeah. I still love my baby even when it's toxic. Crazy like she...
Muppet. Yeah, so we just packed up. We've been here, we got down here pretty early, so like 7, so we've been here for about 4 hours. Emily's laptop isn't that power hungry, but yeah, it's still got over 50% of the charge, so either it runs really well or she's done bugger all work. But I would say so far, so far it's yeah, we're pretty impressed with it so far. So I'm now gonna take it off, probably recharge it, and then I'm gonna edit this video entirely on my very power hungry laptop just from that, and we'll see how it goes. Right, okay guys, it's actually been a couple of weeks since we filmed that out in the forest, and the reason I've decided to wait before finishing this review is because I wanted to put it through its paces for a much longer period of time. So for those of you that follow the channel, you'll know I've just done a little mini trip of the Southeast by myself, and I've pretty much used the Power Oak for everything. So the vlog that came out last week was entirely edited using the Power Oak. I should explain, my laptop is like, it runs at 135 watts, and when I'm editing it is at 135 watts continuously, so it draws a lot of power. I managed to put that vlog out quite easily by charging the Power Oak up every day and then just running my laptop purely from that. We don't have an inverter in here and I wasn't on site, so my only source of charging my laptop was with the Power Oak, so that worked brilliantly for that. There's a couple of other features that I didn't discuss that I just want to point out. It does have 10 watt wireless charging on top, so if you've got a phone that charges wirelessly, or like Emily's smartwatch I think charges wirelessly, so you can just plonk that on top. And it does have a pretty cool light on the back. Now I think it's got 3 settings, so it's got like a bright light, a less bright light, and an SOS light. So if you are camping, you know, it's built in, you haven't got to take it with you, and for me I'm finding it really handy to light for videos, so you know, it's useful. But my honest opinion, I think it's brilliant. I should tell you why, because some of you will know, some of you won't. We had a van prior to this, and it was a much more basic setup. So it was a small van, very much done for chuck the dogs in and go kind of situation, and it had barely any kind of electrical setup in it. A big part of the reason it didn't is because I just didn't have the knowledge or the balls basically to put one in there. If I'd have known about this then, I would have absolutely bought one, because it is perfect for if you're just doing like a day van or a weekend van and you want some sort of power option to charge your devices. It's brilliant. I mean, it'll charge a couple of phones, it'll charge a tablet, you can run a few lights off it, and it will last for ages if you're just doing that. So I think realistically there's potential for this to be a complete power solution in a van build if you're not going to be living in it off grid. They do make a bigger one, I can't remember what it's called, but if you ever look on Power Oak's website, it's a bigger unit. I think it's over 2,000 watt hours. This one's 500 watt hours, so you know, it's over 4 times as big, so it will last much longer. The other thing I really love about it is all the charging options. So like I say, you can charge it up at your house before you go, you can charge it up whilst you're driving along, and then if you are off grid, you've got the solar, so you just whack the solar panels out in the morning, leave it sitting there all day, and by the time you come to do whatever it is you're doing with it in the evening, running lights, editing, whatever, watching Netflix, it's ready to go. Another big selling point for me is, some of you know I'm into wildlife photography, and that involves quite often sitting in the same spot for hours on end, waiting for, you know, your subject to come along. So if you're into any kind of outdoorsy activity where you like that, I don't know, perhaps fishing or wild camping in a tent, you can take this with you. It's small, it's portable, it's compact. Like I say, it's fairly rugged, and it can just sit there with you while you're waiting, so you can charge your phone, again, watch Netflix, whatever it is you do that needs power while you're, I don't know, sitting in a field or by a lake waiting for whatever it is to happen. I mean, for my photography, I have so much to charge up. I've got DSLR batteries, of which I take 2 or 3 out with me at a time. I've got drone batteries. I've got my phone, which I need to be fully charged because I use that to control the drone, so I have to make sure that's fully charged. Like I say, I've got the laptop, which sometimes comes out with me so I can preview shots and whatnot. And then, like I say, if I'm sitting in the field, sometimes I'll take a small tablet just so I can, you know, do things on there. So yeah, it is really handy to have all the different outputs, and then couple that with its ability to do your 240 volt stuff, your household stuff, is absolutely fantastic. Now, it's not going to run GHD straighteners or anything like that, but it will run basic things that you need. So it charges up my drill, which is ideal, because I always take a little 10 volt drill on the road in case there's any repairs in the van. It charges up this laptop, no problem. Emily's used it for a little mini whisk thing, so yeah, it's fantastic for smaller 240 volt appliances. So yeah, that is another massive plus for us, because it means I don't have to yet worry about putting an inverter in the van, which is very, if you're running an inverter, it does converting 12 volt to 240 volt, so then like this laptop 19.5 volts, so then I have to convert it all the way back down to 19.5 volts, and the energy loss in that process is just silly. So like this, I've got a separate system. I'm still getting the energy loss, but I can charge this up independently, so I know what I've got to use for 240 volt appliances. Right guys, that is about it from me this week on this product. I should say this video isn't sponsored, so I'm not being paid to make this video, but Power Oak did very kindly send us the kit, so thanks guys for that. And like I say, I am genuinely really impressed with it. It will be coming in our van, on the road, on our first big trip, because I think it just has so much potential. And again, most importantly, it is a backup for us, so if there is ever a problem with our system, we do have that backup there. If you do want to check this product out and you're thinking of getting one yourself, there are some discount codes in the video description, so whether you're in the EU, US or UK, there's discount codes not only for this but also for the solar panels for charging it as well, so please do check those out. All of those will be linked below in the description. But from me, that's about it this week guys. If you found this video interesting, or you think you might want to see more of these types of videos, product reviews, things we're going to take on the road, things we use in the van, do let me know in the comments, because we'll be interested to know. I know Emily has got a lot of gadgets and bits and pieces that she uses, so yeah, do let us know. But thank you ever so much for watching. Consider hitting the subscribe button if you aren't already. Ding the notification bell if you want to be notified of future videos. Give us a thumbs up. That's Emily's line, but she's not here, is she? But we will both see you on Sunday.